What do you think?
5 stars.
Wow.
A hard 5 stars.
Emphasis on hard.
Hard. Throbbing 5 stars.
Time and place. Welcome to a new reading vlog. Today I am joined by Victoria. This is gonna be a themed reading vlog, which I usually don't do, but something that I have been doing nowadays is just reading whatever you're reading. Oh wait, actually, we started this because I was already reading it and then you jumped in on it. Remember?
No.
No.
Here's what happened. You were like, I think I'm gonna read Planet Barbarians. And I was like, that is so funny because I checked it out of KU like 2 days ago, but haven't read it yet. So let's read it together. I had already thought about it. You just had osmosis, babe.
I thought I had started reading Planet Barbarians because you were asking me what I was reading. And I was like, oh, I started listening to Planet Barbarians. And you're like, oh my God, I was curious about reading that. Let me see if they have it on KU or something along those lines. And then you checked it out. Point is, usually you were already starting a book and then I jump in on it, but now it's the reverse. It's essentially erotica. It's like a series of novellas. There's like what, 20 plus books?
There's 21 books, 2 novellas.
Okay, we got an expert over here.
According to Amazon. I don't know.
I figure since Victoria is visiting here in New York this week, and we also happen to be reading Planet Barbarians, it would be fun to film not only our impressions from reading this book / possibly more books if we're into it, and whatever activities we do throughout the week. And maybe we can connect it to Planet Barbarians as well.
I love that idea.
All right, but before we get into the shenanigans with these barbarians, I want to say thank you to today's sponsor. Cue the clip from Future Cindy. I want to thank Care Of for being today's sponsor. Care Of offers a curated set of products that are designed to work with research-backed ingredients. This shouldn't surprise you, but I do not take care of myself that well. And the vitamins that stood out the most to me in my routine have been the B complex. This is meant to support the nervous system and promote energy metabolism, and I use this because I was constantly feeling burnt out. But with these vitamins, I do notice that I have been feeling less that way. Another thing that I take is the multivitamin with iron. This has been super helpful for me, especially when I'm on my period, because obviously I'm losing a lot of blood. I also feel like it's rounding off my diet better because I also do not eat as much fruit as I should be. In my personal life and professional life, I feel like I'm constantly juggling so many different things. So it's really important for me to stay on top of these things and avoid feeling burnt out and tired. I also really like that part of their service is just how easy it is to simply take a quiz and then find out the kind of vitamins that you need. So I really like that it is all personalized for my health specifically and my own unique situations. You can take Care Of's quiz in my link below, and you can go ahead and use my code WITHCINDY to get your first order for 50% off. And now let's go ahead and watch the rest of the video. Do you want to talk about, what this book is about?
It's basically a bunch of human women, all 22 years old, get abducted by mean aliens.
The triggering part of this book is that in the beginning, when they are on the spaceship, they basically get sexually assaulted and they have to like watch other girls get sexually assaulted.
And it's described on page.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And I thought that it had been taken out of future editions, but apparently that's only the traditionally published version, I believe.
Actually, in the beginning, I think you and I both contemplated like not finishing the story because we were like, this is not turning out the way that we thought it would be, because we thought this was gonna be a silly hee hee ha ha fun time, but this is just depressing shit right here.
I think the only reason I kept going is because in the beginning of the book there was a little like foreword that said she explained how she was still getting her footing as an author and how the books moving forward are not that dark as the beginning of this book.
Well, why didn't she just take it out in the first place if that's in the foreword?
I don't know.
For reference, Victoria's reading it as an ebook and I'm listening to it as an audiobook.
Your version is so insane.
If you can get past the dark part, which we unfortunately had to do, again, I think it's completely unnecessary. Yeah. Basically, the inciting incident here is that, they're having really sad, depressing shit happen on a spaceship.
And literal shit. At one point, they're covered in their own feces. I don't know if you remember that. I do. Core memory.
Yeah.
Core memory.
And I'm like, so I'm reading the shit and I'm like, is this supposed to be like a fun, silly book? Because this is not like the way to see. Fortunately, it's only dark in that beginning part.
Yes.
What happens is the ship crashes on an ice planet, and that's how the women get separated from their captors. Problem is, they're stuck on this ice planet. They're freezing to death. They don't have any food. They don't know.
They're all in their pajamas because they all got taken during the night, apparently. Yeah. I think one of the characters like doesn't even have pants. So all you naked sleepers, be careful.
We're making it sound so scary and dark at first, but that's because it is.
It is dark and scary at first.
Yeah.
It really is.
I was like, dude, this shit is just depressing me out.
It's
like,
sad.
these are women being like captured and kidnapped. Anyway, it gets better like when they're finally separated from their captors. They're still trying to figure out how to survive. It still feels like a serious story, but the main character here, fun fact, she's from Florida. And why Victoria says that my audiobook is so ridiculous is because the narrator for the main girl, she talks in a southern accent.
Oh my god.
The main girl gets picked as like the leader because she
has more fight tendencies.
Yeah.
In between fight or flight, she's gonna fight and like try to do something about it.
She is the one that has to go out from the group to venture out of the ice planet and try to find help. When she left, she was like, if I don't come back, don't come looking for me.
Yeah, it was that serious.
Yeah, it was really that serious until it wasn't. She passes out and then she wakes up to the main guy eating her coochie out. Because when he meets her, the barbarian alien people have this thing where if they meet their mate, they will instinctually feel like
it's called resonate.
They'll resonate and they'll start to like purr in their chest. It's not something that they can choose. It's like a biological thing, I guess. But yeah, so then he's like, ooh, what is this strange human? Anyway, he's big and blue and he has ridges all over, including the most important places. He starts eating her out and that shit is goofy as hell.
So fucking funny.
Finally, we get into the goofy shit because this is what I signed up for, okay?
I know, but imagine being through all you've been through and then you wake up to like this giant, huge man, blue with horns, just eating you out.
Which sounds traumatizing, but she enjoys it.
She does enjoy it.
That's where it gets goofy. So I'm like, finally, this is the shenanigans that I signed up for. Yeah. Okay, I'm not trying to read a survivor story. I'm trying to read a blue alien eating out some coochie. So that's where things picked up for me. So far, since then, it's been smooth sailing. Like now, she and him are like just traversing through this ice planet. They have a language barrier, so they don't understand what each other is saying. Fortunately, because she turns out to be his mate, you know, he tries to take care of her and stuff, but she's trying to communicate to him that they got a bunch of girls that need saving.
Yeah.
That's where we are at so far. Definitely picks up later after the dark beginning. I think if the rest of the book continues on this trajectory, then I would look forward to it. Basically, I need more smut and I need less survival of the fittest. I need survival of the clittiest. So we'll update you next time when we finish the book. In the meantime, we'll also bring you around to explore Brooklyn. We're meeting up with a friend to check out Ripped Bodice, which is a romance bookstore that recently opened in New York. They originally had their location in Los Angeles and now they're opening one, and it's a bookstore that's entirely dedicated to romance. There's so many subgenres in romance too, so there's gotta be an erotica section. Bye. We are here to update that we have finished Ice Planet Barbarians, and you know, it was a good thing that we visited Ripped Bodice because they had an Ice Planet candle, and I was like, I know what this is in reference to right here. Did you enjoy the bookstore?
Oh, it was so much fun. It's truly a romance reader's dream in there. I will say, I think the erotica section was more limited than I'd like.
I think they were just trying to cater to the general romance readers, not just whores.
That's okay. The store was so cute. So many cute picture opportunities. I feel like everything was organized like really well. They even had like a monster section aside aside from the fantasy and paranormal. And
Oh yeah, for all the monster fuckers.
For all the monster fucker section.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
I think the barbarians or the aliens or whatever could still fit under monster fucker,
Like
right?
a subgenre of monster
Maybe.
fucker.
I mean, they're big and blue. That's like a monster. But actually, I think paranormal romance, in a way, kind of falls under the bigger umbrella of monster fucker. I think like you could be into banging like a werewolf or vampire, and that is still like a monster fucker thing, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's monster fucker, and then there's different little niches within monster fucker. It's
Pick
like,
your flavor.
do you want to fuck like a gargoyle, a vampire, a barbarian? You know, it varies.
Why choose?
Well, we know what the main girl in this book chose.
The main girl chose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I just like to say to everyone I doubted, I get it. I get it.
What's your final thoughts on the book? Would you rate it?
Because the beginning was so rough, I have to give it a 3.5. I'm sorry. The second half was great. I loved it. I think he's a big simp. I think even though they have a language barrier, they do communicate pretty well.
I will say, like, after the coochie eating incident, they didn't really have sex for a while.
Well, I mean, you know, they had some shit to do. They had some women to save.
Okay, yeah, they had to save women. Even though she was stigmatized and they were constantly doing it, she was still like, hey, I got priorities. We got some bitches to save up here.
Yeah.
So that they can also enjoy some good dick. And you know what? I'd fuck him too.
Yeah.
And you know you would too. Here's what throws me off. You know what? I'm totally on board with like her banging him, having a great time. Like what I didn't expect though was for there to be a breeding component, because you get chapters from his perspective too. There's like a point where, you know, after they're having sex, he keeps on mentioning that he can't wait to see her swell up with his child. And I'm like, hold the fuck up. we never agreed that there would be any baby making here. So I'm like, oh no.
At first I was like, ugh. But then also I feel like as I continued on, it's very prevalent that it's a culture thing.
I personally wasn't prepared to read the second book because I was kind of just like, whatever. But you've already downloaded the second book, so I guess we're in on this ride together.
You're all welcome.
And to go along with the theme of Ice Planet Barbarians and all the erotica they get into, we are also going to visit the Museum of Sex so we can be further educated on the subject matter. See you next time.
You were so good at normal. You were so good at blending in with the crowd. You were so good at normal. You were so good at pretending that I'm not around. You were so good at normal. You were so good at blending in with the crowd. You were so good at normal. You were so good at pretending that I'm not around. I wanna be just like you. I wanna sink my teeth in the pores of your skin. I wanna be just like you. I wanna take a swim in your plastic acid. You were so good at blending in with the crowd. You were so good at normal. You were so good at pretending that I'm not around. Like you.
What do you think about the Museum of Sex?
I loved it.
It was a lot more interactive than I expected it to be. Also, one of the fun parts was that at the end, there were drinks and they were fortunately strong.
Very
So we got fun and tipsy and we had a good night. You know who else was having a good night? The main girl in book 2. What do you think of the second book so far? We're like only halfway through, but like how is this in comparison?
I am loving it. First of all, there's none of that dark shit.
Oh yeah, this follows a new couple now. So I'm guessing every book is like a new couple that gets
Yeah.
featured. In book 2, we now follow one of the other girls that were on that spaceship and held captive and got stuck on the ice planet with the other girls.
Yes, she has a lot more bite to her, a lot more sass, lots of sarcasm, and they are both very, very stubborn.
The main guy is kind of like an outcast. People think he's ugly. Instead of 2 horns, he has 1.5 horn. So everyone's like, ew, freak. And he has a bunch of scars from like getting beaten up and stuff. So everyone's like, freak.
So mean.
And he also believes he's ugly.
He thinks he's ugly, and
he's a virgin too, so he's like, damn, I must be ugly because nobody wants me.
I just want to set the record straight. He's sexy as hell. I'm sorry.
How do you know that?
Because I see it. I'm like, damn, he tasty or whatever. I think he is sexier than the first guy, but I feel like the first one is very golden retriever, and this is
guy?
like the rugged, like hate to love, like
he seems like he's more cold or whatever,
Yeah.
or aloof, but that's just because he's like hurting inside and he thinks he's fugly and
It's
nobody
so
wants him.
it's so relatable. It's so sad.
You
know
just
it
feel
is.
sorry for
It's
him
so
because you're
sad.
like, oh my god, he's just like me.
He's just like me for real.
It is literally stated in the text that he has the biggest dick out of everyone on this planet.
Sexy motherfucker. I told you.
And they already have huge dicks to begin with. So
Yeah.
for him to have the biggest dick out of all of them,
Yeah.
like that's fucking crazy. Like she
Yeah.
could trip and like impale herself on that, you know?
That's like remove organs big.
Okay, so what happens is, this is pretty early on because she just got the cootie and now she's like, god damn, now I'm horny all the time. But like, I don't like this guy. So she just like self-pleasures herself. And then he walks in on her doing that. So he gets turned on. So he's jacking off too. And then she gets turned on. So it's just like the cyclical like horniness that's going on. They're literally just like staring at each other while like angrily masturbating.
Yeah. He thinks she doesn't want to have sex with him because he's ugly, which is so unbelievably sad to me. It's so sad. He's like, wow, she must really think I am like the ugliest thing on this planet.
Okay, I'm trying to talk about how he has the biggest dick here and how she found out. You keep on turning it back to like sympathizing for this big dick creature. Let's get back to the topic. He has the biggest dick of them all. It is explicitly said on the page, once he shows his dick and they're angrily masturbating each other, she's literally like, holy fucking shit. Why is it so big?
No, isn't it compared to a third leg?
She literally, in the writing, it says that's practically at eye level.
That's
What?
like looking down the barrel of like a tree trunk.
Maybe in their culture, the bigger dick you have, the uglier you are. He's like, oh,
Stop.
he's like, I'm so ugly. I just have a humongous schlong.
No, he's so little bean.
He's like, no one would ever want me and my big dick.
No one knows he has a big dick, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, because nobody's ever gotten to see his dick.
And he's a virgin.
Actually, you know what? I see the appeal though, because I always thought if I were to ever date a man, I would rather, like, I would
Excuse
want
you.
him. Okay, but listen, in this when I was straight, okay, back when I was straight, I thought, you know, if I were to date a man, I obviously want him to be attractive, but I want him to not know that he is. Because I think when a guy knows that they're attractive, that's kind of a turn off because of the way that they present themselves and like how arrogant they are. If they don't know they're attractive, that's better because then I can like, I don't know, it keeps them humble, you know? Then it's like, yeah, you're lucky that I gave you attention.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know what they say, it's like if you give an ugly guy a chance.
I'm saying I want him to be attractive,
But not know it.
yeah, he was ugly growing up and he just really internalized that.
I feel like he'd grow up to be a big baby. I feel like he'd grow up to be a big problem.
We're talking about human men, but you know barbarians, they will be hidden different.
Oh yeah, they will.
So there's definitely like, I don't even know if it's love-hate.
It's not love hate. She kind of hates him.
Yeah.
He doesn't hate her. Which I understand. Her
Yes.
life has literally been flipped upside down. And
Yeah.
now she's told that she has to spend forever with this giant blue person.
Yeah, that's valid.
I get it.
Honestly,
She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She doesn't want to mate with this guy. She doesn't want to have his babies.
now throughout the story, she gets so horny and she wants him so bad, but she doesn't want to admit that she wants him so bad. She's being very like hot and cold with him. They'll always get turned on. They'll, you know, start to get sexy times going on, but she'll say stuff like, I don't want you to lick my pussy. But she obviously does, because why else is she baring her fucking legs?
Yeah, I was about to say she'll
spread
say
eagle?
that and then she'll like
Yeah, she's
understand.
like, I don't want you to lick my pussy. She's like, I don't want you to lick this. She's like, don't do it. Don't. But the point is, it's mixed messages, you know? So he's confused as fuck because he's like, she says she doesn't want this, but she's doing this. And she's like making all sorts of pleasurable noises. Like
He's getting real confused because he's starting to think that that's part of like the human courting process.
yes, and you know, if you think about this too deeply, then you'll be like,
I don't
this
think
is
you're supposed to think about
problematic. Yeah, but you know, this is booktube we're talking about. So someone out there is like, why are we setting this precedent that no means yes? But here's the thing, is on this bitch for being so stupid.
No,
Because
it is on her.
I'm
for
like,
real.
why are you training him with reverse psychology? She literally says in the book, I don't want you to lick my pussy, but she does.
And I will say, whenever she says stop with her actions, not her words, he stops.
We'll see how the rest of the book goes. So far, it is more entertaining than book 1. Let's see if we can stick it to the landing. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, this is gonna be the final update because it is Victoria's last night. So even though I am technically not done with this book yet, I feel like I got to the 3rd act conflict that happened. Since you're done with it and you read way ahead of me, what do you think?
5 stars.
Wow.
A hard 5 stars.
Emphasis on hard.
Hard. Throbbing 5 stars.
Time and place.
It was absolutely delightful. I had fun literally the entire time. I even shed a tear at one point. I actually, you know what? I think there might have been 2 tears. I think once was when he was like talking about how ugly he is.
You're hung up on the fact that this guy thinks he's ugly.
Yeah, no, because think about, like, he's
You're
just
like,
alone. But he's very, like, othered. He's very outcast
Yeah.
by what his family did in the tribe. Not
Yeah.
many people talk to him. He barely has any friends. He's always hunting on his own. He thinks he's fucking ugly
And unlovable.
and unlovable. It's so sad.
Okay, but here's what I found out as I was listening to the audiobook literally today, that apparently when
I already
these
know.
people get pregos on this ice planet, it's not for 8 months, not for 9 months, it's for 3 years. That is my literal nightmare.
No, I would wanna, you know?
I'd be like, y'all got abortions on this ice planet? Where's the barbarian
Holy
planet parenthood?
shit, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
Because
they have
they're
horns.
with barbarian men.
They have horns. They're gonna fucking.
And you know, when your dad is 7 feet tall, he's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for book 3 though.
Damn. Was book 3 gonna be 10 out of 5 stars now?
Do not send us therapy bills. I will not pay them.
Yeah, and do not lick my pussy. So that is the conclusion of Ice Planet Barbarians. It's short, it's easy to read. Bitches and whores be flying through it quickly. Hey, I will update you next time for the other reading vlogs. Bye.
Bye.